Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Darksphere, and today, it's about damn time. About 4 or 5 months too late. But hey, we're here now. It's Melffy time once again. This time in Master Duel. So with the release of the new tier elements stuff, we also got the new Melffy support, which was introduced powers of the elements. We have Melffy Wally, we got Melffy Penny, we got Melffy Staring Contest. I did that out of order, but it's fine. So I decided, you know what, let's play the meta a bit here, and let's see if I can do a Melffy Spright deck profile. And I think I got something good cooking here. So, and also as a request to somebody who commented on my original Melffy video, which has like 400 views, which, thank you so much for that. Hopefully this was worth the wait. Probably not, because I am inconsistent as fuck. But according to that, thanks to the one guy who commented on that video saying they would like to see how to play this deck. So I'm going to oblige. We're going to do a quick deck profile, and I'm going to show you a game. Granted, it's a bronze rank game, but the point here is to show you guys what this deck can do and what your goals are with this deck as a whole. So let's get started with 2 copies of Countessa Mystical Beast of the Forest. This was in my last deck profile. It's mainly used as a summon off of your Melffy Puppy, or just a way summon, normal summon, whichever. But you get a free pop if it's special summoned by the effect of a beast card. Really good, really solid, just your go-to pop off of the puppy. And while it's on the field, you can use it in tandem with a Hoppier Squadron or a Penny. No, Penny's only Melffy cards, unfortunately. So, with the effect of a Hoppier Squadron to go into any of your Herald of the Arclights. So yeah. Next up is 3 copies of Nimble Beaver. It's Spright, so of course we're going to be running Nimble Beaver. It just says free Spright Elf or whatever the fuck you want to go into. Whenever it's normal summon, you can special summon another level. You can special summon a level 3 or lower Nimble monster, including itself. So of course we have 3 copies of it. Next up is 1 copy of Hoppier Squadron. This is going to be your main target to go into synchro summoning into your Herald of the Arclights. You can search it off of Caddy, and if you have a cow on the field, or literally anything you don't want. Sorry. Excuse me, sorry. You can use that, as well as Hoppier, to go into your copy of Herald of the Arclight. Next up is your copy of Melffy Cat-E. We're running 3 copies of it, because we definitely want to have a decent amount of Melffy cards for our Melffy Wally, which we'll get into a bit later. But Melffy Cat-E, all the Melffy cards have the same effect, where you can special summon it during the end phase of your turn. Not only that, if your opponent normals or special summons a monster, or they attack into it, you can return it to your hand and activate an effect. For Caddy, it's going to be searching out any beast monster from your deck to your hand. Normally, you can use this to go into either Hoppier Squadron or Melffy Penny, or on rare occasion, you can go into your Melffy Wally if you want to. That helps out for next turn. But normally, you're going to be going into either Hoppier Squadron or Melffy Penny. Next up is Melffy Puppy, which is now officially the 2nd best Melffy card in the entire deck. This card allows you to special summon a level 2 or lower beast card from your deck. You can special summon your Wally if you want to set up more stuff, but your main target is going to be Countessa, so you can get more disruption on the field. You can pop cards, you can stall out as much as you possibly can. And that's the whole theme with this part of the deck, is you need to stall in order to get to your big boss monsters that you can use to help close out the game. And Puppy really does do a good job of helping with that. Next up, we have our typical little Spright package. We have 3 blue, which is it's fucking Spright blue. A lot of people knows. Everybody knows what this does. If you don't know, then if you special summon Spright blue, you can add a Spright monster from deck to hand. Normally, you're going to be searching out whatever you need for the situation. The most common search is going to be Jet, which Jet, whenever it's special summon, allows you to add a Spright spell or trap to your hand, which is either your Spright starter or your Spright smashers. I have 2 copies of Spright red, which is mainly used as, again, a bit more control stall type tactics. So I'll show you the combo in a bit, but normally you'd go into a copy of Spright Elf off of a Beaver or whatever special summon or whatever you have available. And then you'd place a red on one of the arrows and a carrot on the other arrow. So what red does, and you just end your turn there. So what red does is, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you contribute another level rank 2 monster. Level rank or link 2 monster. And you can negate and destroy it, which is really fucking good. We are running one copy of Spright Carrot. I was recently introduced to this, and this is basically the spell and trap version of Red, where you can pitch a level, rank, or link to Xyz to negate negate that effect. If you attribute a link rank to a monster, you can destroy that card. So pretty good. This is basically, you know, again, more control. You negate monster effects and negate spell and trap effects. It's also really good to help clear a way for your big boss monsters to just get in safely. Next up, we have the star of this Melffy package, the 3 copies of Melffy Wally. This was just released 2 days ago, and oh boy, I tried playing this deck without Wally, and it's just not the same. So Wally, just like all the other Melffy cards, he has special summon itself from the hand during the end phase, and if it gets attacked, or if your opponent normal special summons a monster, you can bounce it back to your hand and activate an effect. This effect is you can special summon 2 Melffy monsters from your deck with different names for each other except itself. Most of the time, or not most of the time, all the time, it's going to be a copy of Melffy Caddy and Melffy Puppy to help set up your board even more. Wally is an absolute essential purchase, an absolute essential 3-up for this deck in order to make it pop off and make it work as well as it does. So, yeah, please invest in some Wallies if you're trying to make this deck. It's probably like be the first thing you invest in. Next up is 2 copies of Melffy Penny. I'm tempted to drop this down to 1 because I had to get rid of the Merry Melffys in my extra deck, which I had in originally. But basically, it's another version of Hop Your Squadron, which allows you to select a Melffy card. If a Melffy card was returned to your hand, which happens a lot, fun fact, who would have thought, you can special summon this card and use it and a Melffy card in your hand to synchro summon. You don't really see it pop up a whole lot, which is why I'm going to be bringing it down to 1. And also, I want to for these 3 cards, you always want these 3 to match the amount of synchro cards you have in your deck. Like for example, I have 3 of these sorts of cards, 1 Hoppier and 2 Penny, so I had 3 level 4 synchro monsters. However, I might actually change that, but you know, if you want to see the Penny pop up more consistently, hey, there you go. Next up is just staples, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, which is just Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have 1 Raigeki, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, which I accidentally did that. I'm going to put that shit right back in. There we go. And next up is 2 copies of the new Melffy Staring Contest. I absolutely love this card. If you want to take this deck a bit more seriously, you could probably gut this for some other generic spell or trap card that you would like. However, I'm actually going to include this because we have a lot of Melffy cards in here, and it's just consistency, and it's also just really fun to use. So how this card works is it's a continuous spell, which allows you to reveal a beast card in your hand, add a Melffy card with a different name from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and place the revealed card on the bottom of your deck. It's once per turn, so it's an easy way for you to get out Wally if you brick and you just have this card in your hand. So you at least have something on the field. And then, during your opponent's battle phase, which is the much less used and much funnier effect, during your opponent's battle phase, you can reveal any amount of Melffy cards in your hand, and your opponent loses attack and defense equal to the combined stats of all the Melffy cards. Seems a bit confusing when you're reading it, but I'm going to put it in simpler terms. Basically, all your opponent's monsters lose 400 attack points for every Melffy monster you reveal via the effect, because all the Melffys have a combined stat total of 400. So just remember it that way. Don't remember it as like the combined attack defense. They basically you reveal Melffy cards during your opponent's battle phase. They lose 400 attack. All your monsters, or opponent's monsters rather, lose 400 attack points for every single Melffy you reveal. And then we have another staple, 2 Call Up by the Grave. Next up is 2 Spright Starter, which is basically a starter. Very apt name there. We got 1 Spright Smashers, which you're mainly using the final effect of this to banish a level by banishing a card and banishing a card the opponent controls. You're mainly using that last effect of it. And 2 Evenly Matched in case we somehow get our board rocked. So we can hopefully stall out for a little bit longer so we can get ourselves back in the game. Now onto the extra deck. We have 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight, which is our Floodgate and Omni, and also to help with the tier elements matchup, because I didn't realize that any monsters sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banished instead. I didn't know that part, so hey, it's good for tiers. This deck is now good for tiers. Next up is 1 copy of Skycapper Centuria, which is part of our Rank 2 Zeus engine. 1 copy of Mannequin Cat. Now this can be used with, and this can be like substituted out with any Rank 2 Xyz card. And there's a lot to pick from. If you want to be funny, you can do Cat Shark along with a Spright Gamma Burst. If you want more negation power, you can use a number 65 Gym Buster or a Crumble Logos Prophet of Demolition, or you could use Rona Raccoon Sundayu if you want to be funny. So those are just some of the options that you can go into. You can even add another Joyous if you can add Joyous Melffys if you want. But you got some options. But I decided to go with Mannequin Cat. However, my mind could change on a daily basis depending on what I'm in the mood for. Next up is 2 Melffy of the Forest. I originally had this as 1 Melffy of the Forest and 1 Joyous Melffys. However, the second effect of Melffy of the Forest is just too good to not run 2 of in case one of them gets destroyed, banished, or what have you. Basically, it is first off a searcher. You can attach a material to search a Melffy card, not just Melffy monster, Melffy cards. You can't search Melffy Staring Contest. I found that out the hard way from reading the card. But the second effect is what's really important here. You can target a face-up monster your opponent controls. If a face-up Melffy card you control returns to your hand, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated while it's face-up on the field. Some people get this confused, like, oh, its effects are negated and it can't attack while Melffy of the Forest is on the field. No. So let's say there's a Cyber Dragon, for example, which in the replay I'm going to show you, there is a Cyber Dragon. That Cyber Dragon, if I target it with Melffy of the Forest's second effect, it can't attack, and its effects are negated while Cyber Dragon is face up on the field. So some people get that confused with Melffy the Forest. Well, Melffy the Forest is on the field. Don't. It's when your opponent's monster is on the field. It can't attack or activate its effects. Next up, we got 2 Gigantic Spright. It's Gigantic Spright. Another way you can bring back your resources and go into more places if you want to. Next up is Downer Magician, which basically reads turn into Zeus. And hey, look, there's a fucking Zeus right here. Next up is 1 copy of IP Masquerena. You're not really going to be using the effect of this during your opponent's turn. You're mainly going to be using this as a way to link climate to your big Xyz cards. Next up is 2 copies of Spright Elf, which is the absolute best fucking card in the game and helps protect some of your monsters. It's mainly used as it's just really good. I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to say. It's just really good. Not only can you bring back a level 2 monster from your graveyard, but you cannot target and like Link 2, I think? Your opponent cannot target monsters this card points to with card effects. So that means if you have this, a Spright Red, or a Spright Carrot pointing to it, hey, guess what? They can't target your negates. So I have to target the Elf, which you can of course use your red or carrots to negate that effect and destroy it, which is amazing. Spright Elf, it's fucking amazing. Who would have thought that this card was good? I can't wait till it gets banned in about 3 months' time. And next up, your 2 big boss monsters. First off is Access Code Talker. This is a card I heavily recommend with this deck because without this card, you kind of don't have a win con. Because I tried this deck before without Access Code Talker and YG Omega, and it was just a whole lot of nothing. It was a lot of negates that led to nothing. So let's give it a big beefy boss monster. Like everybody knows what Access Code Talker does. It's a big beef stick that you could use to pop cards in the field. And you can use this in tandem with your Spright Red and Spright Carrot to help clear the way for game. Now for the other one, you can basically use whatever Link 4 or Link 5 that you want. You could use Underworld Goddess, you could use Crusadia, you can use Apollosa for more negates. I decided to go with Mech Crusadia for right now. But again, it's your choice on which big beefy boss monster you want to go to. So when you're looking at a win con for this deck, I just generally recommend Access Code Talker and whatever Link 4 and Link 5 that you desire to help close out games very quickly. And of course, one thing I do need to mention as well is if you are going into higher ranks of games, the game I'm going to be showing you is a relatively low ranked match, but it's fine. I haven't played the game in a while and I'm climbing back up the ranks a bit. But once you get to gold rank, I heavily recommend you get, or like silver or gold or whatever, in the upper ranks, I heavily recommend you get rid of some of these cards for a Dimensional Fissure, a Dimensional Shifter, a Macrocosmos, something you could help to use to deal with tier elements, because just a Herald the Arclight on your field is not going to do it for you. So anyways, let's get into the replay that I was going to show you guys today. Ignore my Bronze 4 rank, I'm still baby. So I'm going to go Standard. And thanks to that commenter who reminded me, hey, you need to show how you play this deck. So we're going to do that right the fuck now. Alright, so this is a Bronze rank 5 game, so people can shit in the comment section for my exceptionally low rank, but I haven't played the game in like 3 months. I was waiting for the support to come out. here. So I'm just going to walk you guys through the general setup and strategy of this deck. So as you see, we have a moderately decent hand here. We at least have a starter, and we have a Spright Smashers that we can set up to help with our opponent. However, the other cards are kind of eh. But as long as we get this in our hand, then we're good to go. So we're going to choose to go first here. And first off, we're going to activate the Spright Starter in order to summon out Spright Blue. And we're going to trigger Spright Blue's effect to add a Spright monster from hand. And we're going to add a Jet to hand. And we're going to special summon the Carrot and the Jet. And we're going to activate the Jet's effect to add a Spright card from deck to hand. We're course going to add our second copy of Spright Starter. These are mainly just setup fodder for during your opponent's turn and during our next turn, respectively. Then we're going to get rid of the Jet and the Blue in order to go into a copy of Spright Elf, and then immediately activate the effect of Spright Elf to go to a copy of Spright Blue. And we're going to set 2, and we're going to summon the Melffy Caddy to the field, and we're going to use the Caddy in the Blue in order to go into a copy of Melffy the Forest, activate the effect in order to search out a Melffy card. This is mainly what you want your end board to look like, because you're going to special summon this during the end turn. So with the rank 2, I've noticed with this, it's mainly dependent on what you go into. What rank 2 you go into is specifically dependent on if you have Wally in your hand. If you do have a Wally in your hand, I always recommend that you go into Gigantic Spright so you can regroup some of your resources. If you don't have Melffy Wally in your hand, I recommend going into Melffy the Forest. But it's also, situation dependent, because the negate and not being able to attack effect of Melffy the Forest is really good. You just gotta have to time it properly and get used to the timing of it. So that's just my general recommendation on which rank 2 you go into. Of course, you have your other Shitterton rank 2s here. Of course, this is when I had Joyous Melffys in the deck, which I don't anymore. But you can use it to go into Centuria. If you're going second, maybe you can go to a Zeus play. You can go into Mannequin Cat if you want to meme. You can go to the Joyous Melffys or whatever you want to. So you're going to add the Wally to hand, go to your end phase, and we're going to special summon the Wally from our hand to our field, and that will be it. You don't want to set up too big of a board here. You just want to, stall until you get your big boys out. So if you're going to summon Cyber Dragon, and of course, off the summon, we're going to trigger Melffy Wally's effect to special summon 2 Melffy cards with different names from each other from our deck to our field, as well as returning this to our hand. Next up, we're going to chain the Spright Starter in order to get, I believe, a red onto our field so we can get up our little wall here. Yes, we can. And of course, we're going to special summon the Puppy and the Caddy off of the effect of the Wally. So now, we're basically completely set up to stall for the rest of the turn. We have these 2 to help negate. We have Melffy the Forest to stop a monster from attacking and have their effects negated. We have a Puppy that we can go into a Calypso Mystical Beast of the Forest with. And we have a Caddy, which we can search a Hopbeard Squadron, which we can also go into a negate. So that is Check's notes, a lot of negates. So it's still their turn though. They're going to pitch a copy of Cyberclaw in order to add a Cyber Dark Spell Jack card from deck to hand. We're going to Ash that because we don't want them getting anything really good that can spell disaster for us. However, they are going to activate the Cyber Dark Realm, and of course we're going to activate the Carrot to pitch the red in order to negate it. Not only that, we're going to be triggering the Spright Elf in order to get the red back, which is a nice little system, nice little loop there for you. And Carrot's going to negate that, so you're not going to be adding anything to your hand there. It's not going to be destroyed though. However, it is going to activate the second effect of Cyber Dark Realm in order to, I believe it's the normal summon one? Yeah, you can, once per turn if you equip, you can immediately after special yourself normal summon Cyber Dark monster. So you're using that effect to bring out Cyber Dark Claw. And upon summon, we're going to activate the Melffy Caddy and Melffy Puppy as Chain Link 1 and 2 respectively. The 2's going to go first. We're going to pop the Puppy back to our hand to bring out a Calypso. And the Caddy's going to come back to hand in order to add a Hopbeard Squadron. Now with Calypso on the field, special summon be a Beast Monster effect. We can pop a card on the field now whenever the Chain Link ends. However, since the Melffy card was returned to our hand, we get to target a monster that our opponent controls. They cannot attack, and their effects are negated. We're going to target the Cyber Dragon so they can't attack, and we're going to use the Calypso to pop the Cyber Dark Claw. I apologize if I'm speaking a bit too quickly. If you want me to, I could, maybe, let me know if I'm talking too fast down in the comment section, because it could be hard to understand some things that I'm saying, and if so, I severely apologize. But it's our turn. We're going to draw the Spright Jet, and we're going to immediately go into our Link 2 here of IP Masquerena. And then, of course, we're going to activate the Melffy card to add Melffy Staring Contest from deck to hand. See, it's not just Melffy cards we can search with this effect, we can search out the continuous spell. We're going to activate Melffy Staring Contest mainly as a safeguard. Next up, we're going to activate Spright Elf in order to bring back one of our level or rank 2 monsters from our graveyard. We're going to choose the Spright Red. And then we're going to use the Spright Elf and the IP Masquerena as 2 links each in order to bring out our copy of Access Code Talker. And from here, it's just this hop, skip, and then jump to not neutral. God, what am I, a fucking fighting game player? Yes. But it's a hop, skip, and then jump to game here. We're going to activate Access Code Talker's effect, banishing the IP Masquerena for it to gain attack point, 2,000 attack points. And then we're just going to absolutely pop off here. We're going to banish the IP Masquerena in order to pop the Cyber Dragon. And then we're going to activate the effect again because it is not once per turn for some godforsaken reason. We're going to banish the Elf, and we're going to pop that back row, which was Overload Fusion. From here, we're going to special summon Spright Jet. And we're going to use the Spright Red, as well as the Melffy Force, to go into a copy of Spright Elf once again. We have 2 copies of it. And we're going to use that to go into a copy of Gigantic Spright. Since it has Link Monster on it, it gains its attack and doubles to 3,200. And from there, it is just a hop, skip, and a jump away to game. So there you have it, guys. That is the Melffy Master Duel deck profile. I'm pretty sure there's a couple things that you could tweak about this deck. That's you know, one of the joys of Melffy Spright as a whole. You basically just jam any level 2 stuff you want in here in place of Mannequin Cat. You can get rid of the Melffy Staring Contest, the Feather Duster, and Raigeki for some more meta-defining stuff as of the moment, especially when you're going against tiers. And I think this is honestly a really strong contender. From what I've seen with Melffy Spright, I've seen people get to like Diamond 5 or whatever. I don't think I'm going to get that high because I'm not that good at the game. However, maybe you guys can get a bit more mileage out of it than I can. So, thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate all the support on the original Melffy video, and hopefully this one does just as well. I doubt it, but hey, you know, maybe you'll take a couple things from this. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.